Hey everyone, welcome back. These are finished pieces that you're going to see the video of the big one here next, but I'm going to do the drawing first and then you'll get the video. And just a pre-warning, it is a very long video. This is a 24 by 36 and it's very involved. So hopefully you can get through the whole thing. It turned out really great. This is for my granddaughter's nursery, and this was the one I did last week. All finished, all dried. I just love how those open cups turn out for the foliage. Really pretty. I'm not crazy about this blank corner here. So that just was some blank paint there. I'm probably going to go back in and pour some over that area, but otherwise, yeah, I'm really happy with how that came out. And these, I'll make another one of these with different colors, and they will go, let me see if I can do this, on the sides. So I'll have 3. So it'll make a really nice big piece for her nursery. She's a little spoiled. But there is that one. Came out pretty good. I did some balloon kisses down in the green instead of doing flowers, and then I just added some yellow back in, and I think they look like dandelions. And I went all the way down to the canvas with those. The reason I'm showing you those close up is because I did not show that in the video. So those are just balloon kisses. I was picking up the paint. The balloon does a really good job of picking up paint like that. So picking up the paint and then all the way down to the canvas, it leaves a really cool texture. And then I just went back in with some paint. All right, so we're going to do the giveaway first and then get on with the video. I'm going to go backwards, so I'll do the jewelry first, and then the trivets, and then the painting. So if you are a winner, on the first and second prize, you get to choose. But either way, you still need to email me, and here's my email address. Kristinsoriginals@gmail.com. I always have that on my description box also, so you can find it there. And you're just going to need to email me if you're a winner and give me your address so I can get it sent off to you. All right, so let's do the first one. Is going to be the bracelet. Really cool. Magnetic clasp. And then I'm going to send 6 buttons, and you can choose your colors on the buttons. I have just about everything. So that will be the third prize. I've got my hand, as you can see. I can't see any of, well, I have these folded up so good that I couldn't cheat if I wanted to. So let's go. Got a name. Who did we choose? Joan Whitlock, I believe. Joan Whitlock, you are the winner of the jewelry. Please contact me at kristinsoriginals.gmail.com and give me your address, and I will ship those off to you. All right, second prize is the choice of a trivet. So I've got that one, really pretty, iridescence, and then this one. Okay, so a choice of one of those 3. All right, who's the lucky winner of the trivet? Maria La Cavera. There you go, Maria. You get to choose a trivet. Yay, I think that's the first time she's won on one of my drawings. All right, grand prize is the beach with the starfish. That was my metallic beach that I did with the cell activator, or a bloom. Just a little 10 by 10, really pretty though. Really cool center there. A lot of metallics going on. All right, so this is our grand prize winner. Who's it gonna be? Counting down the counting down. Okay, got a name. Mary Hutt is the winner, grand prize winner. Mary, let me know your address and I'll get it shipped off to you. We've got to choose one, but all right. So those are our 3 winners, and I'm going to get on with the painting. So I will see you guys next week. Take care. Okay, here we are. Today's video, we're doing the big canvas for Aria's nursery. And this is a 24 by 36 gallery wrap. So it's got the thick sides. I've gone ahead and done the bottom, which is, you can watch in my last video, video number 80, if you want to see how I do the bottom greens. I just wanted to get a head start because this is going to be a very long video. And I wanted to cut it a little bit by already having that stuff down. So we're just going to work on the flowers. I'm just going to pop some air bubbles. It is very important when you're flooding your canvas, especially with the blue, that you have enough paint down. Check your edges for dry spots. You can see where I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've put in dabbed some areas with paint that were looking a little dry, because it's going to take you a while to get all the flowers on. So you want to make sure that you have enough paint down there the edges tend to dry quicker. So just make sure you've got enough around the edges. So today my tools are my handy dandy strainers that I have found at Walmart. They are different from other strainers. So, you know, if you want this type of flower, you have to find this strainer. And the difference is not only the holes in the bottom, but the holes in the sides. My mom bought me a strainer the other day, and it is a typical strainer where you have slits in the sides instead of holes. So those are the strainers you want to find. So I'm just going to put my strainers down. I've got 3 of them. These are going to be my largest flowers. So I only want to have 3. So I'm going to drop my strainers down where I want to have those flowers, keeping enough distance between them so that they don't run together. If they run together, the petals mush in on each other, and I don't really like that. So I'm going to have enough other flowers in and around them that, you know, will make it look more natural. I did not put the strainers in the same place either. I've alternated them. I've alternated the heights of them. So, you know, you want to make sure, although I'm thinking now I might want to move this middle one because I like to have the middle one higher. So let me switch these around a little bit. I am going to have I have these cups or lids that I've drilled holes in. So those are going to be my smaller flowers. And then I also have, and I don't know if I'm going to use these or not, but from my open cups that I cut off, I have just the bottom of the cup. So I cut it short, and then I cut holes, did a hole punch. So just cut your cup low enough so that your hole punch can reach all the way down to the bottom, and just punch, you know, 6 or 7 holes around the bottom. They don't have to be perfect because flowers in nature are not perfect. All right, so I've got my 3 big flowers down. I don't care if this one drips over the side a little bit. That's perfectly fine with me. I'm going to pop these bubbles so they don't stay. All right, so the first flower I'm going to do is going to be a red. flower, and I have got probably 30, 35 colors over there behind me. So yeah, it's a little crazy, you know, but I have all my colors mixed up in my bottles. So that makes it nice and easy, especially to do these strainer flowers. All right, so I'm gonna make sure my colors are mixed. I don't wanna mix them up too much because I don't want a whole bunch of bubbles, but a little bit of bubbles is fine. In the flowers, they just create cells. So, whoop, getting a little crazy with the paint. All right, so I have a deep red by Artist Loft that I'm gonna put in here. Just gonna fill up the bottom and then go around the sides. And the next paints that you put in, you can just squish in the middle. And I don't have you guys in the frame, do I? I'm gonna need to move my camera a little bit. Hang on just a second. Just gonna move it up a little bit so you can see better. Okay, there we go. Got it all in there now. This canvas is, and this is nowhere near as big as the last one I did, but it's still a pretty good sized canvas. So that color was Indian Yellow. I believe that's an Arteza paint, and I am not flowing out of these sides over here. Sometimes when you get close to the edge, you can have that issue because the edge pushes the strainer up. So I'm just going to go in and put some more down back here to get that flowing. Let's see. Once you get it going, then it goes pretty good. But you just want to make sure you have enough. Okay. And these are going to be similar to the last painting I did, but I don't want it to be exact. So I'm going to go with a little bit of lemon yellow by Arteza. And let that paint start coming out of the strainer. Don't just keep flooding it with paint, because if you do, the flower's going to get really big and you don't want that. So I'm going to put a little bit of gold, the 24 karat gold, in the center, because when I pull this up, that whatever you have in here, mixed in here, is your center. So if you have some colors in there, then it just is cooler when you pull it up. And I think it's just about ready. So I only put the colors in one time, and I can see the flower, you know, is out around the strainer. I wish I could get you guys in closer for this. Hopefully you're able to see it come out. All right, and then here's where the magic happens. Now I always like plan ahead where I'm going to put the strainer, because when I lift it up, it's going to be a mess. So try to lift it up and try to have your hand underneath there. So pull it up, hand underneath, set it off to the side. So those holes in the bottom is what is kind of unique about this strainer. When you pop them, then they create a center for your flower. And if you do it right, they'll look nice. And then you don't have to swirl it or do anything else to it. And I just like them like that. That makes me happy. So you know what? I'm going to drop you guys down. I'm going to see if I can get you in a little bit closer. I have to be careful when no, I think that's good. Okay, that's going to be better. So flower one done. Let's set those back over there. We're going to go with a blue flower next over here. So let me get my blues. I've got light blue, aqua. Those are both by Artist Loft. I've got Prussian blue, and I've got metallic cobalt. I'm trying to find a place for these bottles where there isn't paint. I meant to put another petal pad down and I didn't. It's kind of, it's a lot. These big paintings are really a challenge because you've got so many different things going on. All right, let's start with the dark blue. I like the dark colors around the edges. And you can do opposite of that. It's, you know, really is preference. All my paints in my bottles are mixed a little bit on the thicker side. That Prussian blue is probably a little thicker than I wanted it to be, but then I'm going to go in with some aqua. Push that blue out. If you put it in the middle, it'll push the blue out. Every color you add is going to push it further. And then whatever you have left is going to be your middle. And I like the lighter colors in the middle. I have a stuck hole. It's not coming out, so let me get my skewer. And find that poked or stuck hole. See if we can get some paint to come out of there. Okay. Then I'm just going to push a little of the aqua up in there. There we go. A little bit more of the dark blue. This painting is for my granddaughter, Aria, but really it's also for my stepdaughter, Alyssa. And she loves blues and greens and aquas and ocean colors, so I'm going to try and throw as much of that in here as I can. All right. Let's get that one off of there. Again, lift up, put your hand underneath. And because that blue, the Prussian blue was so thick, I didn't get a lot of dots going on, bubbles, but we've got a few. It's a pretty flower, actually. I like it. All right, so 2 down. The other thing too when you're doing these is you need to move. You need to keep moving because, you know, every minute that ticks by, your paint is drying. And even though you have Floetrol and blue and water mixed in there, oh, that blue one is so pretty. It does dry quickly, so you want to make sure that don't take time to sit and look at them too long, even though it's really hard not to do that because they're pretty. You got to keep moving. The Dutch flowers come next, and those really need a wet background. All right, so I'm going to go in with the purples. I think I want a little bit of medium magenta in that one. All right, so I'm going to start with my Dioxazine purple and prism violet. And I will list all of these colors. All of these colors will be in the description. All right, then we're going to go with some, I'm not sure, I think this is just a violet by Liquitex. I didn't mark the bottle when I put it in there, so, okay. You guys can see that one? Yeah. So that one's coming out. I'll give you guys a close-up too at the end of this video. I'll bring you down and go through the painting close-up so you can see all of this, what it looks like. And the strainers, I found them over, I didn't find them in the kitchen aisle or the bathroom aisle. I found them over by the, that was medium magenta, by the way. I found them in Brilliant, in Brilliant, Basics Brilliant Purple. Over by the scrub, like the sponges and stuff, is where I found them. This style. All right, Just gonna let that one drip out a little bit more. I am gonna put you guys on, oh no, I'm not gonna pause yet. I have a couple more flowers to do. So I'm gonna use these little ones in between here and do a couple smaller flowers. There's going to be 4 different kinds of flowers. These are like these flowers, but smaller version. And then I'm going to be doing the Dutch blown flowers, or the straw blown flowers, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to take this one off. I don't want these over here. I'm going to put that there. And that one got some of the light blue in the center from the background, which is okay. All right. Now we're going to do the smaller flowers. I think I want to do those in maybe some oranges. So let me grab, and maybe some coral. No, I think I'm going to stick with the oranges and yellows. I'll do maybe a pink and coral one over here. So I'm going to move that down a little bit. These are just hairspray cap that I used my Dremel and drilled holes in. I don't think I have any. I'll just let that yellow come out. All right, and then let's get some of the color shift and the coral. What goes good with those? Let's see. The color shift, the pink color shift is kind of like a, it's kind of like a coral. So, and this is just my own coral that I made. Mixed up some white and red and orange. Let's put some of that color shift in there. So, you know, you can make your own coral. It's hard to find a good coral in the store. Let's see. I may have to pull in some of this. Yeah, that just looks like a blob. That's not good. So let's take some of it out with the paper towel. No big deal. You can always erase something if you don't like it, and you can always fix it. So all I'm doing with the paper towel is going in and sucking out some of that. I'm going to get my white and add a little bit of white in there. And I want to add a little bit of, let's see, I think the rose might be okay. Oh, no, the rose is clogged. So, let's just give a little bit of swirl of the white. The paper towel gives kind of a cool effect too when you pull it up, and then let it come back in. So let me get the skewer out. Get another paper towel. All right. Now all I'm going to do is take the thicker end of my skewer, and I'm going to make petals. So I'm just going to pull it in where I think there should be petals. Don't worry about that swirling that you just put in there with the white, because it'll all come together. I want to make sure, let's see, color shift. Just put a little dot there. There's some blank canvas showing there. So I'm going to give that one more. I'm going back in the same places I was just in. Try not to do too much different. All right. Give a little swirl in the center. Got a cute little coral flower there. When that color shift dries, it's going to be really pretty. I just put some lemon yellow in that center. Let's put a little bit of the, let me see, I want to put a little bit of the Indian yellow in there. All right, and then we're just going to again go in with the thick end of the skewer and put it in. Whoops. You can also go in with a paintbrush, the end of a paintbrush. And because you're giving these plenty of room, what am I doing? I have lids everywhere. These are my erasers from my bottles, and they must be in my paper towel, and I keep dropping them. Let's throw them over there. Because you're giving these plenty of room to spread out, they don't crack. So I know it looks like a lot of paint, but they really don't crack. This center over here is looking a little crazy, so I'm just going to give it a little, actually I think I might pull it in a little bit first. I'm not going in every petal. And I go in between the petals. I am not a fan, typically, of, yeah, I like that the way it is. I'm not a fan of pulling out or pulling in and dividing that petal. I just don't like how that looks. Some people love it. Just not a fan. So, okay. I think we're good there. And those will spread out more. I can see there's a mound of paint, but it will spread out. And that is the, you know, having the paint be wet enough. The Floetrol helps keep the paint wet. And even though like it looks like there's indentations here, these will smooth out and be fine. All right, I'm going to pause you guys because I have to go get my you know what, I was just thinking, actually, I think I want to pull those out because in the last, I'm going to use the skinny end of my skewer and pull the centers or the leaves out. Even though I just said, don't pull the leaves, I don't like the leaves out, but I do in these particular flowers. It makes them kind of look like morning glories. So, I guess out is okay, I just don't like the in. That's probably what it is. I'm a weirdo. Everybody has their own interpretations of flowers. I'm not sure I really like this orange flower, but I think it'll be okay when it dries. I think it's just really bright right now, but it's a cat orange and it'll dry darker. Okay, so I'm going to pause you guys. I'm going to go get all of my Dutch flower colors so we can start the stalks of flowers. So hold on just a minute. Okie doke, I'm back. I got all my Dutch colors over here. The greens, I left them a little bit thicker this time because they're going to be for the leaves and stems. I feel like I'm missing. I thought I made up a really, oh, they're down there on the floor, which is where I put them so they were out of the way so I could put down some protection over that paint because I don't want the cups to drip. I have a lot of paint down here from putting the base down and doing the greens. So I don't want those to drip on. All right, so we're going to start with, I want to do, I think, yellow over here. So I'm going to start with the yellow. I've got a dark yellow and a light yellow, so I'm going to start with the light yellow. And I'm just going to, same as these thickened up a little bit. I need to add some more water. Same as the last video that I did. With the blown flowers. And I put little puddles down. And you want these paints to be pretty fluid. You don't want them to be too, well, you know, too fluid. Last time in that other painting I got some fractals, which was really cool. But all right, so I'm doing this upside down, so I have to think about this. I wanted you guys to be able to see it in the right direction, but that puts me at a disadvantage. All right, so just going to do my dots. I don't know if you guys can see this very well. Hopefully you can. I'm going to get out one of my bendy straws because I'm going to have to blow backwards. Okay, and then I'm going in with some, I believe this is cad yellow. A little bit darker. And especially important, make sure you work on your edges first, especially if you're doing the blown flowers, because that paint really does need to be dry. I mean, wet. Opposite of what I said. What I meant to say was it will dry quickly. So make sure you do your edge blown flowers first, because like these edges are already starting to dry. Because the bottom, you know, takes longer. So I just have my bendy straw. I've got it bent so I can blow backwards. And I'm just going to blow Alrighty, and let's put a little bit of green in there. I've got this sour apple mixed up, which is a really bright green. None of these greens have silicone. The greens in the bottom have silicone. So when I go to varnish this, this is going to have to go in the bathtub. And I'm going to have to give it a good washing with Dawn, or just a grease cutter. It doesn't have to be Dawn specifically, but a grease cutter. Dish soap. Okay, now I'm going to blow that up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put my stick in my green paint, and I'm going to pull down. I'm just going to pull down through the whole thing first, down into the green paint. Wipe your stick after you do that. And then you're just going to pull down some stalks. I go back and embellish these on these big paintings just because I don't have the time to really go in and do leaves. Just takes too much time, and I really need to keep working. So those I just put in the stems, and then I'll go back and put in leaves later. All right, so got some yellow flowers going on. Let's get some purple ones going on here, because there's no purple on this side of the canvas. I'm also going to be doing the hydrangeas here and there in the bottom, and those will be balloon kisses. So I'll show you guys how to do those too. All right, so purple. Let's go with the dark. Do I want the dark? No, let's do the color flash first. And I'm going to pull these so they're kind of wobble around that flower. It's okay if we get a little bit in there, starting a little bit lower than my other flower. Again, you know, if you get them all the same height, it just doesn't look right. So make sure you mix that up. And you want to kind of, you know, you're going to kind of make these look like they're behind this flower. I'm going to go down into the green a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going with the dark, which is my Dioxazine and Prism Violet mix. Just put those at the base of that, just a little drip. I got a little drip of that color shift in the center of that flower, but stuff like that doesn't bother me. I like kind of messy, controlled messy. That's probably my favorite look. I'm going to have to flip it around to do some of the flowers down there at the bottom. I blew this one the wrong way, so I blew all of the paint out of it. I wanted to blow it into that petal. Just give it a little bit more paint and blow it in. Again, organic and messy is fine. It makes it look more real, like a real garden. Okay, there we go. And then let's give it some dark. I like the darker green with the purples. So let's just draw a line down through. I like when you pull down through into the green. It breaks up some of those cells and it kind of makes them look more like stems and leaves. So kind of cool. I'm not blowing the green into this purple. I'm starting to learn that it makes mud sometimes. So keep your complementary colors in mind. Your complementary colors are the ones that are opposite each other on the color wheel. And if you get those together, they can make mud. They don't always. You know, it just depends on how you've put them in there. But they can make a real mess. So just be aware of that. The colors are orange and blue together. Orange and blue, red and green, and purple and yellow. So because green has yellow in it, and a lot of the greens I use tend to be on the yellowish side, you can end up getting mud. So just always be aware of the colors you're putting down together. And when you make these flowers, you can put blue and orange in there, but in some areas of that flower, you may get mud. So just heads up. Torching these Dutch flowers, if you give them a good torch, hard torch, it's going to give you some really pretty cells and lacing in them. Just be careful not to burn the paint. All right, and then let's do over here, I want to do some blue because we don't have any blue going on over here, so let's get a stock going here between the purple and the orange. So I'm going to use my light blue, and I want this one, I'm going to do this one up even higher than this red flower. Now when I do the hydrangeas, I just use my regular bottle paints for those. All right, that's going to be a nice big stock. And I am getting paint from somewhere. It must be on my apron. I keep getting it on my wrist. I do not like to be wet. That is one of my things. I love swimming. I love to be in the water. You know, I'm not saying I don't mind taking showers, but I want to be dry. As soon as I'm out, dry me off. I don't like to be any wet going on. It's one of my pet peeves. And you know, I'm a hairdresser, so my hands are in water a lot, but all right, let's blow those out. Those should be pretty. I want to put in like maybe one more here. And one more here. Again, this is kind of a fantasy garden, so don't really know what kind of flowers these are. They're just their own flowers. They're made up fantasy flowers. Okay, so let's do, I want to do some of the Peridot with this. Peridot is that light goldy green color. Really pretty with the blue, the dark blue. Okay, I go there first. The paper towel. And then go back in. Just put some green on the bottoms of these. Just pretend like you're drawing with your stick. And then again, I will go back in and put some, they look kind of blank right now, but once I get the leaves in there, they're really pretty. Okay, let me finish that one. Looks unfinished. So let's get some more of these going on. I want some red ones, but I don't know if I want to put them like right next to this. So maybe it'll be okay. Let's get some red ones going on. I'm also going to do, once this dries a little bit more, I'm going to do some balloon punches and just little kisses. And those are going to be like the buds of these bigger flowers. So I'll put those around randomly too. Okay, let's do some red. I'm going to do the light pink first. So that'll break it up a little bit from this. And I'm going to do these between these big flowers. So some of them might get blown into those big flowers, and that's okay. Alyssa said, I sent her the picture of the first one that I did, which will, you know, go on, there's going to be 2 of them on either side of this. It'll be a triptych when I'm done. So I sent her the picture, and she showed it to Aria. Aria's about 5 months old now, and she said she just stared at it. So it'll be really cool that she'll have this for a while in her room above her. It's going to be right up by her crib. So she'll be able to enjoy it, appreciate it for a long time. Okay, let's put a little bit of this red. I told Alyssa there'll probably come a day where, you know, she doesn't want it in her room anymore. So if you don't want it, don't throw it away. Just give it back to me, and I'll either sell it or keep it for myself. Because who knows how long I'll be doing this. Hopefully for a while. I plan on doing it well into my retirement. All right, let's blow those. And see, here is where I wouldn't want to put the green in and blow into the flowers, because green and red, complementary colors, would not do well. And because I put that pink in there, it gives the red a completely different color. So it goes in between those 2 orangey red flowers perfect. So, and I am going to balloon dip these 2 when I'm done. I do not like those centers. Okay, let's do a little bit of the Malachite, which is a dark green that I had to mix, because they did not have it at Michael's when I went, and it is a metallic color. Don't worry about dragging your line down through the center of flowers, because it just makes it look like they're, you know, on the other side of the stalk. And my flowers are not blowing out as good because already that paint is getting dry, and my Dutch colors are thickening up a little bit on me. So, but that's okay. I got them, they're a little bit smaller, but it's fine. So let's torch those. I don't think I torched the blue ones either. And when I give you a close-up, you'll see how it, when you give those a hard torch, it really gives them like a lacy effect. They're really pretty. Especially those purple ones. I think it's the color shift in there that really makes a difference on those. Okie doke. I think I'm touching the sides of the canvas. That's where I'm getting the wet paint from. Let's see, what do I want to do? Okay, so the hydrangeas are going to be down here, so I have to factor those in. And I definitely want to do some of the bigger flowers, or the balloon kisses. So I think, just trying to decide if we have enough of the Dutch flowers or if I want to put a few more in there. I really like the color shift pink, but I don't have any mixed up. But I could do some magenta ones. I think I'm going to put, so I'm going to put a hydrangea here, here, and here. So I'm going to get out my balloon and dip those two. See if I can get those centers to look a little bit better. I have this little balloon. I blow them up just a little tiny bit, put some water in them so they're heavier, and they make great little dippers. And it stays blown up like that for a long time. So that's the size of it. And they're really nice for doing your little balloon dips. And so I'm going to dip in the center here and then pull up slowly. If you pull up too quick, you pull up too much paint with it. So if you pull up slowly, it gives you that really pretty design in the center, which you probably can't see very well. But again, I'll show you at the end. All right, let's do this one too. And you also have to, before you go right back in and dip again, something I've learned and noticed is you have to let it sink back down. It's kind of like when you're doing the bloom flowers, where you have to let that middle sink back down again. Because those colors will open up that are inside there like that. The orange one, when I did it, it didn't look like there was anything coming up. But now that I've left it alone, more and more of that yellow that was under there will come through. I think, though, saying that, I think I want to put a little bit of lemon yellow in there because it is lighter. And I want to dip again. I just want to get more going on in this flower. So let's give it a dip, a kiss, or whatever you want to call it. And let's just let it rest and do its thing. I want to grab my white, which I threw on the floor. Okay, I just want to put a little bit more white in there and give that one another. Drop something in you don't like, just touch it, it'll go away. All right, let's give that one another dip. Okay, and I don't know if you can see how this flower here, the bottom petals have kind of scrunched up. That's because they met the green and there was too much paint there between the green and the blue, and it kind of squished them up. But I don't mind that because it looks like a real flower. You know, rarely in nature are you going to see a flower that's perfectly round like this. So if they get a little cockeyed, a little off center, I actually like them better. So they look more natural that way. All right, so let's start working on our hydrangeas. Let me pause you and get these Dutch colors out of the way. Wait a minute, do I want to do any more? You have to think about it because the Dutch flowers have to be, the paint has to be wet. So you really need to figure that out. I think I've got 4. So that's what's bothering me. See, I knew something was bothering me. I only have 4, and I do not like even numbers. So I'm going to put one right here, right on this edge. I'll probably come down further into the green. What color do we want to do, guys? I wish you could be here and be giving me, maybe I'll do one of these live someday. And then you can help me decide. Let's go with a dark yellow and an orange. Let's do that combination because we haven't done that. I think we have, or do I want to do magenta? No, because I'm going to do pink hydrangeas. So, and the hydrangeas will have some of the color shift pink and the magenta, so in them. So let's just do some yellow here. Where do I want to start this one? I think I want to start at the bottom and come up. This one's going to kind of be lower. The other thing too you have to factor in when you're using silicone like I did in the bottom is when your flowers mix with the silicone, your Dutch pour paint, it's going to really make them wobbly. Which again is fine, just so that you know that's something that might happen. All right, let's get a big one there and we'll blow that into that other petal. Okay, yeah, I'm happier with that. So we're going to go with that, and I really wish I had some orange mixed up. I did not do that. Let's do some red, because the red and the yellow, the dark yellow, will make kind of an orangey. Again, I get little splatters too when I'm working with this paint. I try to wipe the bottom of my stick when I'm coming out of the cup, and that helps. But again, I don't mind a little bit of splatters either. I wonder how many times I've said that during this video. I don't mind. Because it's my painting. So I can do whatever I want. It's kind of nice that even though this is a commission, I'm more relaxed about it because it's for my granddaughter. Even though I want it to be, you know, perfect. I'm not saying that. But it just takes a little bit of the pressure off when you're not getting paid for it. I'm really reaching now. All right. It's better too when you start doing some of the flowers, the blown flowers down here in the green, that it's set for a while, because then it's easier to pull up some of the paint. I'll show you guys one so you can see how I do that in the greens. Because you have to pull up some paint. And I did that in my other one. I think you saw that. I'm going to go with this lighter green. Okay. Oh, I have a napkin in my hand and I'm reaching over there. Silly girl. I just don't want to put any of that red back in this cup. I still am going to use these. I take and cover them with some of that press and seal. I just put all the cups together and press around the edges. And it keeps them, these are from a week ago almost. It's Sunday when I'm filming today. I'm not going to do the drawing, which I'm going to put on the front of this video, until Tuesday, but I'm filming on Sunday. So when did I do the last video? I think I did the last video on Tuesday, because we had just gotten back from seeing my father-in-law. And that was something I wanted to tell you guys. During the painting that I did last week, the Flowers for Judy, he actually passed away while I was doing that painting. So when I turned off the camera and looked at my messages, they had messaged that he was gone. So it's been a really sad week, really hard week, but he's at peace now and he's not suffering. He had cancer and it took him quick, which is, you know, always a good thing so you don't have to suffer. But it's hard on the people that are left. All right, let's do some hydrangeas. Let me pause the camera again and I'm gonna get rid of these. Okay, we are back. We're not even at an hour. Wow, we're doing pretty good. That's because I did everything on the base first. Okay, so I'm gonna do some hydrangea, you know, like balls. My client who commissioned the last piece, she wanted hydrangeas in it, so I thought it would look silly just having, you know, a few hydrangeas here and there, but it really filled in that middle space. So good idea on her part. All right, so I'm going to put I think a blue one over here. So I'm going to go in with the light blue first. And I want to make sure you guys can see this. Okay. So I'm just going to put down puddles in like a ball shape. It helps me if I go around and do the ball shape first. All right. And then that was light blue. I'm going to go in with some of my Prussian blue, and these are just out of my bottles. These are your normal consistency paint. You don't want them too thin because you want the balloon to make that design. Make them look like flowers. So I'm just going to put some white in them and in between them. And I have my paper towel over here off to the side, just set up so that I can wipe off my balloon when I'm done. Okay, so all I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to try and do this left-handed so you guys can see better, is I just go down and mess those petals up. If you get too much paint on there, go ahead and wipe it off. I'm going to pick up some of that paint and go up here because I feel like we're missing some up there. Let that set a little bit. You know, it looks kind of just like a jumble right now, but when you go back into it in a few minutes, it will get some more definition to it. All right, so there's one hydrangea. I think I might want to go a little bit further over here with it. Into this area. It's the light blue, the Prussian blue. I have a little bit of iridescent medium in my Prussian blue. And some white. back into these. Just I'm pushing down, lifting slowly, like I did in the center of those. Other flowers. I think I didn't finish my thought process too on that. The leftover paints. So you can see now that there's more definition in those. I'm going to bring you down closer with when I do these middle ones so you'll really be able to see it well. Anyhow, to finish my thought about the Dutch paints that I have over there, those I can use, mix them up. If I keep them covered with that stuff, I can use them for all 3 paintings, which is really cool. All right, give one more pinch there. Okay, so let's do some pink hydrangeas in here, and I'll bring the camera down closer so you can really get a good view. I also have a video on the hydrangea blooms. It's just by itself, so you can go back and I think 4 or 5 videos ago, you can go back and watch that one too, and that gives you a better idea of what I'm doing. But let's get you down in closer. I'm going to do some right here, and I think, yeah, so you're good. All right, so let's lay down some of the deep magenta. I'm dripping. So yeah, I can get, I'll eventually